Okay, good evening. I apologize a couple of minutes late here with the meeting starting, folks. Good evening, and I would like now to call the 8th meeting of the 13th elected Town Council of Happy Valley-Goose Bay to order. And the agenda is in front of us. I'd like to, a motion to adopt the agenda for the 8th meeting. Does anybody have anything else to add, or? So motion to adopt the agenda? Moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Any discussion? Everybody's good with the agenda? All those in favour indicate with aye. Aye. Contrary minded? We've adopted our agenda for this evening. Of course, with do we have any delegations? I know there's none in-house because of COVID, but are there any written delegations or?
There are no delegations.
No delegations. Thank you, Ms. McCauley. All right, you have the previous minutes. We'll adopt them separately for the 6th council meeting that was held on December 14th. And you have them in front of you, so I'll accept a motion to adopt the minutes as are presented.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, moved by Councillor Duffett, seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Any discussion? All those in favour indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, we've adopted the minutes for the 6th meeting. The minutes are also in front of us for the 7th meeting that was held on January the 18th, 2022. Mover for those minutes, to accept those minutes, moved by Councillor Rumbold, seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Any discussion? All those in favour indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? We've accepted those minutes. Correspondence. Correspondence. Am I not seeing any, or?
Three.
Minutes,
There's
yeah.
3 items.
Yeah.
3 items.
Okay, 1 second, let's get into the minutes. Okay, there we go, yep. Okay, so we have 3 pieces of correspondence. The first one is from Labrador Grenfell Health, and it is regarding the Recovery Action Plan. Second piece of correspondence from the Municipal Assessment Agency with the Labrador Director. And the third one is also from Labrador Assessment, Municipal Assessment Agency with the new Board of Directors. Does anybody have anything they wish to discuss about that? All right. Okay, so we'll move into the committee reports, and I will turn the floor over to Deputy Mayor Wallace for Community Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mayor Andrews. The Community Planning and Development meeting, January 12th, 2022, was held at 4:30 p.m. In attendance was Councillor Duffett, Councillor Broomfield, Mayor Andrews via teleconference, CAO Nadine McCauley, Engineer Randy Dillon, GIS Paul Zhao, and Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy, and myself. Meeting was called to order at 4:34. A few things discussed was the process of registration for business within the town of Happy Valley-Goose Bay. Procedure to register a business was asked, and the onus is on the applicant. I just thought I'd mention details of that to make sure everyone's aware. The onus of the business applicant to come to the town to complete the registration of the business. If a business is operating unregistered, a stop work order can be issued until the owner completes the registration. Next meeting is Wednesday, February 9th at 4:30 p.m. and the meeting was adjourned at 5:32. Please accept this as having my Community Planning and Development meeting report as having been read.
Okay, it's moved, excuse me, by Deputy Mayor Wallace to accept the Community Planning and Development report as presented. Seconder?
Second that.
Seconded by Councillor Duffett. Any discussion? So just to be clear, no recommendations from
We have 2 recommendations,
Okay,
yes.
Okay, all those in favour indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Report is passed.
The first recommendation, 156796-228 Kellen Drive. Committee recommends denying the application considering the groundwater issue in that area and that there will be no further development until the groundwater issue is resolved.
Okay, it's moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace to deny that particular application. Seconder
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Duffett. Discussion. All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Recommendation is passed. Next one.
Thank you, Mayor. The second rescind motion, number 202112-06, application process. The Community Planning and Development Committee recommends council rescind motion 202112-06. Application process is town staff does not do site visits for development applications.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Wallace to rescind motion number 202112-06. Seconded
I'll second that.
by Councillor Duffett. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? We've rescinded that motion. Okay, so Chair 2.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move now into, turn the floor over to Councillor Winters and Community Services and Recreation.
Thank you, Mayor. The Community Services Committee met on January 10th, 2022. Present were Chair Councillor Winters, Deputy Mayor Wallace, and Councillor Duffett, who all attended this via teleconference. And at the hall was COA Nadine McCauley, PR Manager Waylon Williams, Program Coordinator Ann Morris, and Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy. The meeting was called to order at 4:33. There was a review of previous minutes and action items, and added several action items for follow-up, and there were no errors or omissions. Discussion and new business at the meeting. The arena reopening under Alert Level 4. All information is provided on the town's website and Facebook page. Discussion then moved to what happens when we move to Alert Level 3, and it was agreed that no user group will be permitted to use the facility unless they sign their user agreements for this season, and there will be a review of the user agreements for next season. Item number 2 was the McLean Crescent Playground, and was the second item of business as being declared in conflict by council at a previous meeting. I left the meeting so that discussion could commence. CSR committee member Deputy Mayor Wallace chaired this portion of the meeting, and and that's what happened at that meeting, which I was not privy to. The next item was the Mealy Mountain Complex. There was a brief discussion regarding Mealy Mountain Complex after review of the February 2020 master plan provided by CBLC. There is a need to update that plan so that it reflects the long-term needs of the community as a whole with regards to the facility and its ability to host major events, regional and provincial major games, while still providing the community with updated and quality facilities. A meeting will be held at a later date for thorough discussion on how that complex will be developed with regards to what facilities will be needed, and start the planning stages for development, beginning with the soccer pitch and basic infrastructure while working towards a long-term plan phased-in approach. The next item of business was manager's reports. As the CSR department has been without a manager for going on a year and a half, there were no monthly reports being made available. Due to this, the CSR committee requested that there be monthly reports by those that currently lead this department, and for the February CSR committee meeting, there will be a report provided so that the committee is updated on the activities of the department in an appropriate manner. The next item of business was the CSR committee's request of a list of town events so that the committee is aware of all town-operated events and the processes and responsibilities of each. The next item was arena and wellness tours that still have not taken place, but will be scheduled once staff and committees once staff and committee schedules allow. It was discussed, the next item was the discussion of the next meeting, which is scheduled for February 7th, 2022. The meeting adjourned at 6:20 p.m. with the following action items. The committee will review the 2020 Mealy Mountain Master Plan and schedule a meeting once the committee had a chance to review the plan, and we are to schedule an arena wellness center tours. With that, there are 2 recommendations before the council, and they both have to deal with the McLean Crescent Playground. So, as being declared in conflict, I will hand this over to Councillor Duffett.
Okay, before we do that, Councillor Winters, we'll accept your report.
Oh, sorry.
That's why I'm getting
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll accept your report. So it's been moved by Councillor Winters to accept the Community Service Recreation Report as he presented. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Wallace. Any discussion? And I understand the, in terms of COVID and stuff like that with the arena things, but we'll get in there as soon as we can.
Yep.
All those in favor to accept the report indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, we've accepted that portion of the report. So gentlemen, I will ask you those that have been declared in conflict to leave the chambers. We'll come get you in a few minutes.
Excuse me.
And just for those that are watching the meeting, Councillor Winters and Councillor Bennett have vacated. Could we also have the minutes indicate that as well, please, Kathy? Thank you. All right, I'll turn the floor to Councillor Duffett.
Thank you, Mayor. The Community Service and Recreation Committee would like to recommend that council proceed with the McLean Street Crescent Playground, subject to the design and equipment being approved by the town and at zero cost to the town.
Okay, it's been recommended by Councillor Duffett and the CSR Committee that we, council, proceed with the McLean Crescent Playground. Moved, seconder.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Brumfield. Discussion.
There's a couple of things that I'd like to discuss.
Sure. Floor to
Just
you.
a couple of things that I wanted to clarify. There was some concerns over the zoning in this area, and as per the municipal handbook, OSPT, which is Open Space, Parks and Trails, it does fall under the zone conservation. So it didn't change from one to the other. It falls under that category. A couple other things. There was some questioning around what is a consult, or was ours deemed a consult? And although a consult was not needed for this issue because it was appropriately zoned initially, so to clarify that, the consult that we had done, it was not necessary, but it was under the municipal handbook. It was deemed suitable as there was public notice and a minimum of 7 days provided to respond. Another thing that I'd like to point out is that on September 8th, 2017, the GIS tech at the time, and forgive me if I mispronounce his name, Anatoly, he identified 3 major gaps in the town's municipal playground system, 3 of which were the northwest corner of the Johnny Hill subdivision, which is the proposed area currently, the east end of Mitchell and Pottle, and an area between Edmund Crescent and Valley-View/Mealy Mountain. And there was another concern about the removal of the soccer net in that area. That is not part of the plan. The soccer net will remain. And that's all I'd like to
Okay.
discuss.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Just,
I saw her hand first, so Councillor Rumble.
sorry.
Oh, you go ahead.
Councillor Duffett, and I don't know if you'll have the answers, but just for clarity, the motion that's being put forth is with the stipulation that zero financial contribution from the town?
At zero cost to the
At
town.
zero cost to the town. Now, at zero cost to develop, or at zero cost to, at any point in time? I'm sorry, could you read it to me again, the
Yep.
recommendations?
So the recommendation is that
Okay,
am I able to?
sorry,
She
no,
has
I
a
do
copy, but
see
you
it,
can
I
read it if
see
you
it,
wish.
thank you.
So the CSR committee recommends council proceed with the McLean Street Crescent Playground, subject to the design and equipment being approved by the town and at zero cost to the town.
Okay, thank you.
That it, Councillor Rumble?
That was my
Okay.
only question. Yes, thank you.
Deputy Mayor Wallace, floor is yours.
Thank you. An underdeveloped green space open to the community provides ideal opportunity for children to participate in unstructured free play. In a world full of rules and regulations and organized activities, free play is highly encouraged and integral part of a child's mental health, physical health, and well-being. I believe there should be more natural spaces like the untouched area of McLean Street, Town Square on Grenfell Street, and Spruce Park. These untouched green spaces are just as valuable as a cognitive development point of view as much of the basic climbing or various playground apparatus. Standards have to be maintained regardless if of town-led or community-led. The standards and clarity of such prerequisites are key to maintaining open and transparent communication. It's apparent that this proposal has exposed many issues regarding standards required for any project that proceeds in our town, and those standards have to be met. Allocating precious time and funds that we do not have to a green space is not the priority of the town at this time. We have to allocate all funds, donations, grants in our budget, and our budget does not allow for any overflow of extra fees and costs, zero room. So we don't know exactly what this will cost. Items were suggested to be purchased through the town, and of course these have to be passed by council if and when they come up. After listening and taking time to gain a true understanding through the public presentation and letter campaign, I feel 100% there are too many discrepancies in this proposal and its processes to date, and 100% feel that it should not proceed as planned. It is a rushed development. It is not conducive to the long-term plan for our community going forward with any strategic plan. Discrepancies with the proposal include no meeting minutes of any kind regarding its development and council approval, like none. No public consultation of this proposal, namely the property owners that it's directly impacting. No council vote on the ACOA application submission that we as council are accountable for with regards to budget submission. There are no minutes, no reference to approvals granted, and nothing above board with the playground communication. With that, I mean meeting on side of the road with residents is not official council conduct, nor is relying on text messages to be considered as thorough and open and transparent communication, and dialogue with affected residents. This entire process was flawed. It doesn't mean that the CSR committee are against playground equipment being provided, but feel these spaces should be well planned. And I mean planned along with a long-term goal and also establish developmental standards that are well defined and adhered to consistently across the board. There was a 2016 study called Johnny Hill Sand Pit Development. It was conducted and deserves further attention and research. Why this was put by the wayside or put to bed or not even given the attention I believe it deserves is disappointing, truly. I believe it's crucial to avoid rushed decision-making when other opportunities are available. The study is there, the work is put into this. And when other opportunities are available, but the time taken to look into them was avoided. I feel we need to move forward and concentrate on our priorities and strategic plans. To demand simply because a group of residents or a group of parents raised funds or a manager from an agency advised on where to receive funds and presented a proposal to erect a structure because they could does not warrant the allowance to put up a structure where they please. We applaud the time and efforts of the non-registered McLean Crescent Playground Committee to date and hope the same effort will be provided for future plans. Hopefully a joint effort from our community as a whole can support much needed development. The intent for all groups to provide physical activity, joy, the betterment of one's mental health, physical health, well-being. How we achieve this goal is working together as a community. Thank you.
Thank you, excuse me, Deputy Mayor Wallace. I'll say a few words in terms of what my thoughts are. In terms of this project, on the onset, it looked to me to be a good project until I started delving into issues and concerns and what this one said, what that one said. Documentation and that kind of deal wasn't really where it should be. And I think in terms of only over the last couple of days when I received an email from a resident, and I've received hundreds, and I've read each and every one, as the rest of council has too, excuse me, about other options in terms of the Cabot Street development and even another location, and a couple of studies. And I'm really disappointed that these studies didn't come to the forefront. I just think at this time there's just been what could have been a very, very positive opportunity has turned into a very difficult decision from council perspective, and I won't be supporting this motion. Anybody else? Councilor Brooklyn? No?
Yeah, okay, I'll, just a couple of comments or one comment, really. My personal opinion, this is a playground for young children, not for adults, really, right? And that's how I will be voting, for the best interests of the children, not in adults. Like, adults have their playgrounds as well. This is for children, and that's my really only concern.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we've had discussion. So all those in favor of this motion indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Aye. Motion is passed. Okay. The next recommendation, Councillor Duffy?
The CSR committee recommends council proceed with the application to ACOA for funding for the McLean Street Playground in the amount of $55,714 as submitted to ACOA on October 4th, 2021.
Okay, it's been moved that we, CSR committee recommends council proceed with the application to ACOA for funding for the McLean Crescent Playground. Seconded? Seconded by Councillor Broomfield. Discussion. All right, discussion. All those in favor? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one
Yep.
quick question there. Councilor Duffy pointed out when we first started that this is not going to cost the town anything, just an application for it, right, for the funding?
Yes, this is just for funding.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, the recommendation indicates that the design and equipment being approved by the town and zero cost to the town.
Right.
So this will be an in and out function, I assume? An in and out transaction in our budget? It won't be? So, so right now we'll see a budget line item for an ACOA grant of 55,714, and then we'll receive the revenue for that back, I assume, through the fundraising efforts, or how?
That is the amount of the request to ACOA.
Yeah.
The town's contribution is in-kind
Okay.
services only.
All right, okay. So discussion, any more discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion is passed. All right, thank you, Councillor Duffett. We can ask our friends to come back in, please. He walks in just like regimented. All right, we'll move on to Finance, Administration, and Policy, and Councilor Broomfield,
Okay,
please.
thank you, Your Worship. The committee met in the boardroom on Tuesday, January the 18th, 2022, and the meeting was called to order at 4:41 p.m. Present at the meeting was myself, the chair, Hayward Broomfield, Councilor Darrell Bennett, and Councilor Denise Rumbold. Mayor George Andrews was via telephone. In person again was DFO Nadine McCauley, and SAT Paulette Miles, and Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy. Regrets from Waylon Williams. Okay, we reviewed the previous minutes, and there's no errors or omissions noted indicated in them. So we move on to the new business. The FAP committee review and update the vendor regulations. And there's some items attached to that as well for recommendations here. CEO to contact MAA, Municipal Assessment Agency, RE property assessed for those affected by the groundwater flooding issues. Under Policy A0035, taxi regulations, we were to name Community Constable Larry Baker, Director of Protective Services Brad Butler, and Chief Administrative Officer Dean McCauley as inspecting officer for taxi licenses. As well, we update Policy A0036, which is fireworks permits. And again, it was into the same intervals named above. Community Constable Larry Baker, Director of Protective Services Brad Butler, and Chief Administrative Officer Nadine McCauley were authorized to issue permits on behalf of the town. The other business we have is We discussed the audit update from the CAO. We had a manager's report from Paulette Miles, which is our SAT, which is taxation assessment. We reviewed the donations and the low-income age receivables from last year. And then DFO Nadine McCullough's report, various updates, overtime reports, and Central Labrador YMCA claims. So the meeting was adjourned at 6:15, and we indicated our next meeting would be on Wednesday, February the 15th, 2022.
Okay, it's been, thank you, Councillor Broomfield. Moved by Councillor Broomfield that we accept the Financial Admin and Policy Committee report as presented. Can I get a seconder for that report? Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, we've accepted your reports.
Okay, we do have two recommendations. I had a chance to actually review them. These were items that were worked on by the previous council before we got in. And like I said, I only really had a chance to sit down and really review them. Personally, I would like to pull the first recommendation for further review. The wording, in my personal opinion, is not correct
Okay,
on
unfortunately,
some items.
yeah, unfortunately, it needs, personally, we can't pull. It has to be the committee, so if you wanted to have the conversation quickly with your committee members,
About the items, you mean?
yes.
Okay.
Because a
Yeah,
particular
well,
council, this is a committee report, so
Yeah.
if the other committee members are willing to do that as well, or table it for further discussion, then,
I don't remember what they were, I did not write them down, but it was, basically what it was, as I indicated above, we appointed 3 people to issue, to do vehicle inspections and issue taxi licenses. And then as you read throughout the regulations, that part was okay, and then you read further on, it'll say, instead of saying the people authorized to issue license, it refers to the council, refer back to the council. And it should be really referring to the people issuing the licenses.
any clarification
But
on?
like I said, I don't have it in front of me, so I wouldn't be able to, like,
Are you referring to the policy or
Yes.
the regulation?
well, actually, the regulations.
Okay, the regulation is not presented for amending
Oh,
at
okay.
this time, just the policy.
Just the
as to
policy
who-
around that, yeah.
Who is
Right.
appointed
Oh, okay.
to be the inspectors.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So I'm good with it then, as
So
it
you're
is.
okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, so then you're
So-
moving the first recommendation?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so the first recommendation is policy A0035, which is entitled Taxi Regulations Implementation. The FAP Committee recommends council amend policy A0035 to appoint the following persons, employees as inspectors for the purpose of taxi regulations. Brad Butler, the Director of Protective Services, Larry Baker, Community Constable, and Nadine McCauley, Chief Administrative Officer, be appointed as the employee for inspectors.
okay, thank you. So it's moved by Councillor Brumfield that we amend the policy A0035 to taxi regulations implementation as presented. Seconder?
Second that.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Duffett. Discussion? All those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, next recommendation, please.
Okay, and the second recommendation is policy A0036, delegation for issuance of permits for fireworks and posting permit information. The FAP Committee recommends council amend policy A0036 to appoint the following employees to issue permits for the use of fireworks. Brad Butler, Director of Protective Services, Larry Baker, Community Constable, and Nadine McCauley, Chief Administrative Officer.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Bloomfield that we, or the Finance and Min Policy Committee to accept the recommendation to, I guess, update or change policy A0036, which is the delegation for issuance of permits for fireworks and posting permit information. Seconded? Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Discussion? Just a quick question. Any idea how many of these permits were the fireworks permits that we've been issuing? Do you know? It's not a huge number, though?
Not offhand, not
Okay.
very many.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe half dozen or
Okay.
so through last year.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor of that policy amendment indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Thank you, Councillor Broomfield. All right, we move now into municipal services, and the floor to Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Municipal Services Committee met Tuesday, January 11th at 4:30 PM. Present were myself, Councillor Denise Rumbold, Councillor Todd Winters via telephone, CAO Nadine McCauley, Town Engineer Randy Dillon, Superintendent of Water and Sewer Keith Pye, Superintendent of Roads and Maintenance DJ Elliott, and Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy. Meeting was called to order at 4:36. Review previous minutes and action items. Snow dumping in the Mitchell-Pottle Street area is postponed until an alternate location has been identified. Sand monitoring continues with intentions to limit sand cleanup in the spring. No errors or omissions. Managers' reports. Public Works. The manager's report was attached and reviewed. Crews performing regular seasonal duties. Depot maintenance is ongoing. Tipping fees were at $343,471 at the end of December. At the end of November, tipping fees were $280,881. It's an increase of $62,590 between the 2 months. Sand load count is ongoing with approximately 113 loads of sand used up to January 5th. At the end of November, the sand load count was 50. There were 63 loads dispensed up to January 5th. Inspection was done on the plow sand truck that we previously approved to purchase, and deficiencies were identified. Once they are completed, they will ship the truck. The new 2022 John Deere 644P was put into service on December 23rd, 21. Water and sewer. The manager's report was attached and reviewed. No major issues at any of the facilities. Maintenance is ongoing. Reservoirs are operating as per normal. Water testing continues with no issues. COVID wastewater testing has resumed. Committee asked that a public service announcement be issued to advise and also educate residents to where to find the results, to confirm that the work the town is doing and they're doing due diligence. For anybody wanting to see the wastewater testing for COVID virus, the information can be found at www.gov.nl/CAECC-waters/wastewater/surveillance for COVID-19 virus. Click on the results dashboard at the top of the page. Engineering. The manager's report was attached and reviewed. The request for proposals for an operator for YMCA Cafe has closed and discussions are ongoing. Storm drain improvements through NCBF are complete. Kellen Drive and Kellen Drive extension deficiencies are to be completed in the spring of 2022. Local road deficiencies and upgrades are to be completed in the spring of 2022. Request for proposals for a water system study and Justin stormwater improvements are in the process with intentions to tender and construct in 2022. Discussion. Fire hydrants. I asked that all fire hydrants are cleared of snow and ready if needed. Superintendent of Roads and Maintenance DJ Elliott advised that as part of the snow clearing operations and staff continue to work keeping fire hydrants clear. More discussion. GBAC generator. Chair inquired that if the generator from GBAC has been picked up yet. Mr. Pye advised that he will be in contact with Comray Price on Wednesday to arrange pickup. B. Beaver Dam Mud Lake Road. I was advised and made aware of a beaver dam approximately 60 feet long, possible beaver dam, approximately 60 feet long behind the farm area on Mud Lake Road. It may be a separate issue from the canal and the problems that we're having up behind Mitchell Streets, and maybe we may have been looking in the wrong place when we went into helicopter. We may have not gone far enough. I got all the coordinates and still pictures and video. I did speak with the town engineer and he requested that I send him the information so he could send it along to one of the consultants that he could engineer it into one of the projects. I don't feel comfortable sending that information to this particular consultant, as we're already working with a whole pile of issues already that's not being addressed. Date of next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February the 8th, 4:30 p.m. The meeting was adjourned at 5:27. Please accept my report as being read.
Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Seconded?
Yes.
Okay,
But-
and then you can, yeah. Seconded by Councillor Rumble. Now discussion.
Not an error or omission, just an item of clarification.
Yep.
The way it's printed and the way Councillor Bennett would have read it was Councillor Winters via telephone, but it was actually Councillor Bennett, Councillor Rumble, and Councillor Winters via telephone, just to advise that at that point, we were still all respecting COVID protocols, and we did complete the meeting with the councillors tuning in by telephone. So it wasn't just Councillor Winters, it was all councillors respecting the COVID protocol at that
Okay.
time.
Thank you. So we can note that if we captured that. I do have a question in terms of the well number 2, the control valve issues. Have they been repaired? Do you know, or does that have any implications in terms of output from the water treatment facility?
To my knowledge, Mayor, yes, it has been repaired.
Okay.
And if we do lose output from the actual well system, we always rely on Spring Gulch to
Yeah,
pick
okay.
up the slack.
Okay. Thank you. Any other further discussion? All right, and what's the intent with the Beaver Dam? Have we wait till spring, or what? Have we investigated it all, or?
Mayor, we can, what we can do, I know that shortly we will be calling an RFP for the hydrogeological stormwater study. And when we do have a consultant appointed, we can incorporate some of that, that particular issue in with his work to have a look at, see what
Okay.
impact that is actually having on the stormwater in the
All
area.
right. Okay. Thank you. All those in favor of Councillor Bennett and his committee's report, indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion is passed. And we move,
Well,
sorry?
We do have.
Oh, sorry, recommendation, yep.
We
sorry.
do have one recommendation.
You all right?
For Municipal Service Committee recommends that the revised Schedule A appended be approved under the 2020-2023 multi-year capital works.
Okay, we have the schedule in front of us. Councillor Bennett is moving the acceptance of the 2023 multi-year capital works projects for Schedule A. Seconded? Seconded by Councillor Rumbold. Any discussion? And all those in favor indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Okay, is amended. And now, we move to Councillor Duffett. I'll pass the floor to Councillor Duffett and Protective Services.
Thank you, Mayor. Protective Services met via teleconference on January 10th. Meeting was called to order at 12:03. Myself, Councillor Brumfield, Councillor Winters, Mayor Andrews, CAO Nadine McCauley, Director of Protective Services Brad Butler, Community Constable Baker, and Executive Assistant Kathy Eddy were all in attendance. We discussed the update on the fire hall report. Want to notice that the fire protection officer position was filled, and we're welcoming the successful candidate on board. Constable Baker presented some changes for that he would like to see in the taxi regulations as presented earlier. There were some items that we had hoped to discuss regarding some events that we were going to look to plan. Those are now put on hold until alert levels make it safe to do so by the province. The next meeting is set for February 7th at 12 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Duffett. It's moved by her to accept the report for the Protective Services Committee as presented. Seconded? Seconded by Councillor Rumfield. Any discussion? All those in favor of the report indicate with aye. Contrary minded? And I indicate, I say your report, but I understand it's the committee's report. One thing, I just think it's a fitting time to put in something here. Over the last number of weeks, we had a serious fire. We had a very serious injury to a firefighter, and it was noted that there were several firefighters involved, and first responders, RCMP officers and first responders involved in applying, I guess, life-saving first aid and care to a particular firefighter. It's been brought to my attention, and to council's, of course, and we will be looking at doing something formally to thank the folks that picked up and you know, potentially saved one of our firefighters' lives. I'm also indicating to other folks that we should move this up, because the extent that these young folks and our first responders and our firefighters, our ambulance attendants, our RCMP officers did at that particular juncture, I think warrants a recognition much above the mayor's level, although we will be doing something here locally. I'm recommending that we put it up to, if not the Governor General, the Lieutenant Governor's level for sure. So I just want to pass on a lot of humble people in that circle, but we're extremely thankful that the quick thinking of these professionals saved one of our firefighters' lives. So I'd just like to thank that, and I thought it would be an appropriate time because it is protective services. Approval of checks, Councillor Brumfield.
Okay. For the month of January, this council meeting, I'd like to approve the checks totaling $3,295,129.98. And included in that, in those check totals, we have one check here for Johnson JCL Investments Incorporated, which is the one who did the paving work last summer here in town. And this check is for work that was completed last year, but is only being paid this year. And they're actually paying off 4 different projects they were working on. And that check totaled $2,353,759.55. So that's including the total of $3,295,129.98.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Brumfield. And Councillor Brumfield's moving a motion to accept the payment of checks for $3,295,129.98. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councillor Duffett. We do have to pay our bills. Any discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor of paying our bills indicate with aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded? The motion is passed. All right, we will move now into Councillor's Forum. I started here last meeting, then I skipped the meeting, so I'm going back to Councillor Brumfield, or Councillor Bennett, sorry.
Everything is pretty good. Everything seems to be moving along pretty good in the departments, water and sewer and roads and grounds, and they seem to be doing a very good job. I don't be hearing too much. They're on track to what they're supposed to be doing. Community is laid a young man to rest today. I just send out my condolences to the family and hope they all stays well. And that's about it for me.
Thank you, Councillor Bennett. Councillor Duffett.
Thank you, Mayor. I think I would just like to say, you know, I think I can read. We're all sitting around this table in these chambers, wanting to do what we believe is in the best interest of the community. And I just wanted to reiterate that for myself. You know, we all have a lot to learn in these new roles, but I think that's one thing that we're all fully aware of.
That's it for you, sir, or ma'am? Okay. Councillor Winters.
Yeah, I think we're coming along as a council, going through the budget process and seeing that check for $2,353,000 is kind of an eye-opener as it is a carryover, right? So I mean, I think we have an excellent finance committee in place, and going through the budget process over the last month and a half or a month, we're going to be in for some difficult times, and I'd just like to be upfront in saying that if there are some programs that we cannot do, and which are a lot, It'll all come out when the budget speech comes, but like I say, that one check kind of throws you off balance and kind of puts into perspective where we're to financially. With regards to the new hiring of Noel Mullally, I'm excited about that, and I'm just, we'd have discussions with other people, and hopefully this stirs the pot and gets quality people applying for the positions that we need applied for, because right now we're out 4 positions that are very important to this town and how it runs. And basically, it's hopefully it's like I say, the beginning of a brighter future for our town. It's going to be difficult for the next year for sure, but obviously, hopefully, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. And also, condolences to Jody and Trey. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Winters. Councilor Rumbold.
Harder when you go third, fourth.
Your first next month.
So yeah, I can steal a little bit from each one. As everybody else has said, it's not 4 months. It blows me away sometimes to think that it's not 4 months since we were sworn into this council. So as everybody else said, we're learning and learning and learning. I thumb through my municipal handbook all the time because there is, a lot to learn. But at the end of the day, when we all ran, as Councillor Duffett said, just to be representatives for the community as a whole and to do our best. I have the utmost respect for everybody sitting at this table and all previous, everybody who's ever put their name forward, because it's a big job. And I just sincerely hope that no matter what, whether we have agreements or disagreements, whether we can agree to disagree on items, it does not ever mean that I don't respect somebody else's opinion. And it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been an easy 4 months. We're never going to make everybody happy, and I really wish that there was a perfect world out there where we could please everybody, but I'm doing my best. I think we're all doing our best, and at the end of the day, again, respect and doing our best to our ability. And and Ed, going back to what you said about the firefighters, I have one in my family, a volunteer firefighter. It's got to be the most stressful thing to hear sirens and not know if somebody you love is going to be in danger. So the fact that, Mayor, that you acknowledged that we had a firefighter who he puts himself out there and actually ended up at the hospital for being called to duty and just not hesitating to do what was right. I respect all of those gentlemen as well. And ladies, if we have any females. I think we do.
We do.
I can't say
We do
gentlemen.
indeed, yeah.
Ladies as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Rumbold. Councillor Broomfield.
Okay, just a couple items, really. We're coming up with budget day real soon. Everybody's already been mentioning that. We have issues from expenses from projects from the previous council that we have to pay this year. And unfortunately, that means it's cutting to what we would like to do. So in terms of that, we're going to be what I call implementing austerity measures in our budget. That term's been used by many finance ministers before. But it has to be done because we cannot continue borrowing, take on projects. We have to make sure we can afford them before we take them on. That's my opinion. That's how I'm approaching our budget, actually. We're still working on our audit. Our CAO has been talking to our auditors and hopefully having that settled soon for this year, for the 2018, and get all the other ones caught up to date, and then we can be able to move forward with everything we need and know what we need. I would like to thank all our fellow councillors sitting around the table for all the work they've been putting into all this stuff, and also the staff as well. Right? Considering that now we're back into COVID Alert 4 levels, it is kind of putting stresses on people that really we don't need on top of what we already have. Other than that, that's really all I had to say for this one, and thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Broomfield. Deputy Mayor Wallace.
Thank you. I think first off, it's been a difficult time recently, and I say not just Christmas time coming through, but we've had COVID affect our town like we haven't experienced before. And just want to give a huge kudos, hats off, thank you so much to everyone from the LG Health staff, from nurses to everybody on the frontline staff that were braving the cold, doing the testing, putting up with questions, putting up on all levels. So I think coming out of that, like you said, Councillor Broomfield, there's extra staff, there's extra stresses on everyone, on top of every day-to-day life, on top of what you would normally cope through and not have an issue with. So the kids heading back to school today, that's wonderful, in my opinion, to get them out of my living room. Sorry, girls. But I just think following with regulations, following with all the rules, we've done well. We've gotten through it, and here's hoping we continue that way. So again, as you mentioned as well, condolences to Jody and Trey. It's a difficult time for the family. We wish them strength and courage during this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Wallace. I have a few points. I also want to congratulate our new hire, Noel. I think he will be a very good addition to our staff, an opportunity for our organization to build capacity, and that's wonderful. I want to send out a very, I guess, large birthday note to Dorothy Michelin, who's a resident in at the home here, and she'll be 102 shortly. So I'm sure we'll, with COVID, unfortunately, she can only celebrate with one family person, but we're sending her greetings, and we'll also be sending a letter to her as well. Correspondence, I just want to address it. Difficult, as Councillor Rumbold has said, Councillor Duffett has also reiterated the same sort of situation and facts. Correspondence, making decisions and projects, and that all creates all kinds of emotion. One of the most difficult things is, of course, and I'll use, our project a little while ago that, we approved. There's two sides. Two sides have two very varying differencing of opinions, which results in letters, correspondence, emails, phone calls, phone messages that sometimes hit a point that's really not acceptable in terms of the way the message is trying to be put across, I guess, or their point portrayed. Sometimes to the bullying kind of harassment stage. So I would just ask and hope that people who correspond with everybody's open. We're all available. We're all trying to do our best, but try to keep the communications and the correspondence somewhat respectful and in a place where everybody can work together, and that would be going forward. Well, as everybody knows, I was out of town for a little bit, and my stay was extended because of the COVID process and getting COVID, both myself and another member of my family. It's a difficult situation. Through the same time I was going through the process, our community was going through the process, and we were all actively involved in terms of phone calls, meetings, what do we do, what do we not do, behind the scenes conversations. And I just want to reiterate, not only do I want to thank as Councillor Wallace, the community of LG Health and their workers, but there are also a lot of provincial workers and that involved in that process. But I want to thank you guys, because the conversations that we had over those number of days were absolutely astounding time-wise. I was 2 hours behind, and it would start early in the morning, and it would end usually with two particular councillors at quite late in the evening, and we were always engaged. And that message, we're not responding to the Facebook comments and this and that. We put out information through our public relations person. I thank him for his efforts in putting out the information, but there are some things that we'll address after the fact, and we'll move forward with LG Health and those folks. And I want to thank everybody who reached out around the table, especially offering assistance of any kind. Thank you very much. Also, I just want to send out, I just got back over the last few days, and I just want to send out a thank you, I guess, to the beautiful ornament that I think we all received in our boxes from a particular young lady in the community, and the other small gift from another particular person in the community. I think they were very heartfelt and very nicely appreciated, it'll go up on my tree next year. So I thank you, and I understand that they may be going through some difficult times now, so thanks for that. Outside of that, I am finished. Anything from staff? No, nothing. Anything from anybody else before we proceed to close? All right, that being said, motion to adjourn. So motion made by Councillor Winters, and I will adjourn the 8th council meeting.